Hello there. You must be Johnny Wiesman. I'm glad that we could finally meet.
As am I, my friend. You must be Michael Lee. Coming here to this courthouse where our grandfathers battled each other some 10 years ago was a great idea. I'm really interested in learning about what went down between our families in 1992.
Cool, let's get started then. From what my mother was telling me about my grandfather, the Lee versus Wiesman case dealt with religion and its place in the education system. More specifically, whether benedictions of prayer at graduations should be allowed in high schools and ceremonies.
Sounds like you've done your research. Let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that all of this began over a high school graduation? What were things like before the case?
That is exactly what I am saying. Before, clergy and other religious figures were allowed to express religious ideas at any institution they wanted. This includes graduation and even football games.
OMG. I just had a major epiphany. One day when I was going through my mother's yearbook, I remember her telling how my grandfather, Robert Lee, was offended after a principal refused to stop the clergyman from talking religiously at my mom's graduation.
I'm glad that you could make the connection. So yes, that was my grandfather Daniel Wiesman.
Not such a wise man after all. He really should have listened to what my grandfather said.
Hey, don't talk bad about my grandpa.
Fine, I am sorry, Mr. Wiesman.
The only way I'll know you're sorry for sure is if you tell me the ruling of the Supreme Court for our father's important case, Lee versus Wiesman.
Deal. Let me think back to what my mom was telling me that day.
Have it yet?
Yes, I do. The Lee versus Wiesman case was a 5-4 ruling in favor of government not being able to compose official prayers to recite as part of religious programs carried on by government.
Ah, yes. That's correct. From what my teacher Mr. Dunlap tells me, the jurisprudence, or reasoning behind the ruling, involved the fact that our government created a state-sponsored and state-directed religious exercise in a public school, which goes against the First Amendment of the United States Constitution.
Good to know.
Yes. The dissenting opinion written by Justice Scalia stated that while they support the practice and that it encourages our pop culture to unify voluntarily, that also unfortunately spears the non-believer.
I've learned a great deal today. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. It's always great knowing more about your history.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Adios.